Hi everyone! Welcome to my channel again, Math is Fun channel. This is an educational channel to help those students out there, especially those who are doing the online classes and also the modular classes. So thank you so much for subscribing, and this channel are for you students. Okay, this channel is for you rather to help you understand your topics about mathematics. It will help you understand and realize that math is not really a difficult subject, but it's fun and interesting. Okay, so you are all excited to learn new things this in this video discussion. So before anything else, I would like you to please do not forget to watch the video before you subscribe, and do not forget to subscribe. Okay, and please click the share button and also the like button. Okay, share this one to your friends out there, especially those who are struggling in mathematics. At least in this way, you can help them realize and understand and improve their performance in mathematics. Would you like to improve your performance in mathematics? If you want, then share my video and watch my video, of course. You will really learn a lot of things in here. So please continue to subscribe in my channel. Again, do not forget to subscribe my channel. So are you ready? I'm also ready to uh, tell you our discussion for this video discussion. So where I am, I am still looking for the things that we're going to discuss for today. So I hope everybody is doing great and awesome. Okay, so our topic for today will be about, so I'll share. Okay, can you see it? It's available and ready. Of course, we are in algebra. Our topic will be solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. So again, our topic for today is about this one, solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. So the objectives, our main objectives for this video discussion are: identify the values of A, B, and C in a quadratic equation. Second, use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. Third, solve quadratic equations with only one solution. And lastly, we are going to solve quadratic equations with fractions. Are you ready? I know you're all ready. Let's get it started. Okay, solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. We can solve any quadratic equation. So that is very good news, because we can solve any quadratic equation using this formula. So again, we can solve any quadratic equations by completing the square, but the method is so tedious, very complicated, correct? Have you noticed that one? In this section, we complete the square on the general quadratic equation. So if we have ax squared, we all know that the standard form of quadratic equation, as you can see there, is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a does not equal to 0. Again, what will happen if a will become 0? The equation will become linear equation. That's why a must not be equal to 0. Please do not forget that one. So now let's continue. By doing this, we get the quadratic formula, which gives the solutions of any quadratic equation. So another, okay, for our main objective in here in this slide, we are going to identify the value. Our first objective rather in this video discussion is to identify the values of A, B, and C in a quadratic equation. So let's start. In identifying, or to identify the values of A, B, and C in a quadratic equation, to solve a quadratic equation with a quadratic formula, we must, it is a must, first that we identify the values of A, B, and C in the standard form of the quadratic equation. Again, it's very important to know how to identify the value of your A, B, and C in a quadratic equation in standard form. So the quadratic formula should be memorized, and the values of A, B, and C are only determined after the equation is written in standard form. Again, I'll highlight, please rewrite the equation in standard form before you identify your A, B, and C. So now, in determining, let's have an example, determining values of A, B, and C in quadratic equations. So first, our instruction in here is we're going to write the equation in standard form first before, or if necessary, before we identify the values of your A, B, and C. So in number one, okay, as you can see, it's already the 5x squared plus 2x minus 1 is equal to 0 is written in standard form. Therefore, your A now is equal to 5, your B is equal to 2, and C is equal to negative 1. Who got the same answer? Okay, thank you so much. Very good. So let's now try to solve. I'm not trying to solve. Try to identify your A, B, and C in the equation 3x squared is equal to x minus 2. Are you ready? So what do you think? Is this in a standard form? I want you to check if it is in standard form. Yes, it's not in standard form. So you have to rewrite that one in standard form as 3x squared minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. We just transfer x minus 2 to the right to the left side of the equation. That's why it becomes 3x squared minus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So next is where we can now, since the quadratic equation is in standard form already, then we can right away identify your A, which is 3, B is negative 1, and C is equal to 2. So that's it. Let's try to identify the values of your A, B, and C in the next equation. We have 9x squared minus 13 is equal to 0. So in that case, what have you observed? There is no x. There is no middle term. We have the first term and also the constant term. So we can right away say, or we can give right away the value of your A because it's already in standard form. What is the standard form again? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So we have A is equal to 9, B is equal to 0, and C is equal to negative 13. So next, the last equation that we have, of course, it's obviously not written in standard form, so we have to write the standard form by expanding the equation. How to expand? Just multiply. Okay, how to multiply? You can follow the FOIL method or apply the distributive property of multiplication. So we have now 3 times the quantity of m squared minus 1 minus 2. Sorry, this is m. This is m squared. Sorry, I have to correct this one. Okay, m squared minus m, this must be m, minus 2, then is equal to 7. So what's next? The next is, of course, you distribute the 3. So that gives you 3m squared minus, sorry, I have to correct this one. This slide, this must be 3m. Okay, so distribute, so multiply negative 3m, and then 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So we already have this one. So after writing it in standard form, of course, we can now identify your A, B, and C. So we have now A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 3, and C is equal to negative 13. Again, I have to write M here. Okay, so I hope this is very helpful for you to identify your A, B, and C. Just do not forget the first step that we're going to do before we use the quadratic formula is identify the values of your A, B, and C. Okay? You have to check it first. You can only do that one if your equation or quadratic equation is already written in standard form. Do not forget that one. So easy, right? This is so easy actually. The next objective that we have, use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. So we all know that the quadratic formula is used to solve quadratic equations. So to develop the quadratic formula, we follow the steps given in section 9.2, which is this is how we use the completing the square on ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and with completing the square, we can derive the quadratic formula. I will give you a separate video discussion about that one. So again, our focus in this video discussion is how to use quadratic formula, not deriving it, okay? Maybe in the next video discussion, I'll show you. That is so exciting. Okay, so this formula is also valid. However, for a is less than 0, notice that there are two values, one for the positive sign and one for the negative sign. So meaning to say the quadratic formula that we have based on the given formula, or ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, or this one. So we have two values. Your x sub 1 is plus in here. Your x sub 2 is negative in here. So you can take it as 1, or you can rewrite it as 1, or you can rewrite it in compact form, combining the positive and negative, so that it will be easier for you to understand and also to remember. Again, you have to memorize the formula, or else you're going to derive it. You have two options: memorize or derive. I prefer the memorize because it's easy to memorize than to derive. So let's now proceed to the next. So notice that the fraction bar is under negative b as well as the radical. So again, when using this formula, be sure to find the values of negative b, positive and negative, to the square root of b squared minus 4ac first, then divide those results by the value of 2a. So please do not forget the steps on how to use the formula of quadratic equation. Now, after identifying the values of your a, b, and c, after knowing the formula or quadratic formula, then we can solve quadratic equations by the quadratic formula. So are you ready? So we have 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0 as our example for quadratic equation. So how do we use quadratic formula? So identify first your a, b, and c, since the equation is already written in standard form. So next is, of course, using the formula, substitute. After we substitute, then we arrive at by simplifying negative 1, positive and negative, square root of 1 plus 24, which is 25, all over 4. So we arrive in here as negative 1, positive and negative, to the square root of 25, all over 4. So the values can be separated. Since the square root of 25 is 5, you can separate positive 5 and negative 5. That's why we have negative 1 plus 5 all over 4, or x is equal to negative 1 minus 5 all over 4. So after that, simplify, then x is equal to, since negative 1 plus 5, this one, the first one, since this is positive 4, so we arrive with 4 over 4. And next, of course, this one, negative 6 over 4, that gives us negative 3 over 2. Simplify. Both of them are divisible by 3, so negative 6 divided by 3 is 3. Negative 3 rather, 4 divided by, what I mean, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so the answer is negative 3 over 2. And for this, of course, 4 divided by 1 is, 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. So now let's proceed. So that gives us the solution set, or the solution rather, of quadratic equations. Negative 3, quadratic equation 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0 are negative 3 over 2 and 1. So these are the two roots of quadratic equations. You're wondering why is it there are two roots in quadratic equation? Again, quadratic equation is in the second degree of equation. That means it has how many? How many solutions? Since it has a degree of 2, or it is in the second degree of equation, then it has two value of your variable. Or in short, there are two roots or solutions in the quadratic equations. So that's how you use the quadratic formula. Now let's try to do another example. Example number 3, we have negative x squared is equal to 8x plus 1. As you observe, the equation there is not written in standard form. So we write it in standard form. Then you have it negative x squared minus 8x minus 1 is equal to 0. So what's next? Okay, identify your a, b, and c. You have it there. A is negative 1, b is negative 8, and c is negative 1. Then use the formula, the quadratic formula. Substitute, then simplify, then square root of 64 minus 4 is 60, right? So you can have it 8 plus minus square root of 60 all over negative 2. As you observe, 60 is not a perfect square. So what will we do is we are going to factor it out by applying the simplifying of radicals or evaluating radicals. 4 times 15, then we got it as this one. 8 plus 2 square root of 15, since the square root of 4 in here is 2. That's why we have it 2 in here. This one. Okay, why is it there is 2 in here? Again, separate the positive and negative. That's why we have positive in here. We have the negative in here. So I want you to remember that one. Be on the process or else you'll be lost. You don't like to be lost, right? So have focus. So be focused rather. So we have it. We try to solve. Yeah, we can still simplify this one since 8 and negative 2 or can be, or 8 can be divided by 2. And 2, of course, can be divided by 2. So to simplify, we have now negative 4 plus square root of 15, or x is equal to negative 4 minus square root of 15. Easy, di ba? So our roots are negative 4, positive, and negative square root of 15. You can rewrite it in a compact form or combine the positive and negative. Okay, so that's it. So now, solve quadratic equations with only one solution. Sir, is it possible? Let's see. So in the quadratic formula, the quantity under the radical b squared minus 4az, ac rather, is called the discriminant. When the discriminant equals 0, remember, the equation has just one rational number solution, and the trinomial ax squared plus bx plus c is a perfect square. So let's have to take this example. 9x squared is equal to 42x minus 49. Let's see. Of course, we are going to write it in a standard form. After it, you have to identify your a, b, and c. Then use the quadratic formula. Then substitute. Then you already have to simplify it, solve it, and you arrive with 42 positive and square root of 0. So only one solution. Why? Okay. I love the sound. Why? Okay. So 42 plus, of course, square root of, 0 is 0. That's why we arrive with x is equal to 42 over 18, and simplify it. We got 7 over 3. Why 7 over 3? We simplify, or we write 42 over 18 in its simplest form. Okay, so I hope you'll be able to get it. Again, 42 and 18 are divisible by 6. So 42 divided by 6 is 7, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. That's why our final answer is 7 over 3. In short, there is only one solution in the quadratic equation. So that's it. So this is how we end up with our discussion, or in our discussion rather, in solving quadratic equation using quadratic formula. Again, the good thing in here is there is a formula that we need to memorize. We don't need to derive. We don't need to be have difficulty in solving the quadratic equation, because the quadratic formula can solve the solutions or any types of solutions in quadratic equation. Okay, so do not forget the steps. The first step is always remember to check the quadratic equation if it is written in standard form. And second, identify the value of your a, b, and c. And third, use the quadratic formula. Fourth is you simplify, and then fifth is, of course, you have to reduce if it is needed to, if it is need to reduce. And of course, you can separate the positive and negative, or you can combine them. Okay, so that's it. So happy to share my learnings, my knowledge about this topic. So I hope everybody have opened their minds that quadratic equation is very easy. You can use the quadratic formula to solve this quadratic equation. So do not forget that math is fun, okay? So math is easy and interesting. So see you in the next video discussion. So please do not forget to subscribe and share this video to your friends out there. Thank you so much and have fun.